OTB AM live in association with Gillette. Good morning, Star with Gillette, giving you the confidence to tackle the day ahead. Right, I'm delighted to welcome Irish swimmer Shane Ryan to the show this morning. He's been breaking records in Budapest at the International Swimming League. Shane, good morning to you. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. So, a lot of people won't know what the International Swimming Leagues are. Can you maybe just explain it for everybody?
Yeah, so basically the International Swimming League, the ISL, is a professional league for swimmers now. Because it's like Olympics, like during the Olympics, like everyone watches that every 4 years, and swimming is one of the most watched sports during the Olympics. So we have an opportunity where someone ended up starting like a professional league like the NBA, but for swimmers now. So there's 10 teams with 16 men, 16 women on each team. And it's a 2-day meet, and it's like all the races are back to back to back. And it's like basically a show that we have here. And that's what we're doing. So we're basically professional athletes getting we get paid and we swim fast, and we have to recover really quick and swim fast again in like a few days. But it's great because it's like you have all the best swimmers in the world here competing, but it's like you don't have like that like stress level of like a world championships or the Olympics. It's like you come here to swim fast, you see people, and you have fun with it. So, yeah, it's a really, really great opportunity that I'm be able to be here.
Is it a relatively new concept, or has this been around for years, but just we didn't have any Irish swimmers in it, so we're probably unaware of it?
No, it's a new thing. It started last year. The first season was last year. This season is the second season. So they ended up adding like 2 more teams. They had like the Tokyo Frog Kings and the Toronto Titans, which that's the team I'm part of, is the Toronto Titans. I was part of it last year for one meet with the LA Current, which is one of the top teams here. So I got to go over there, experience that. So that was really, really cool. And then this year I signed with the Toronto Titans, and we're basically in a little bubble in Budapest right now.
And what's the bubble in Budapest like?
So the bubble in Budapest is basically it's what the NBA did, but on a bigger scale. We have over 1,000 people like that are in these basically 2 hotels that are on an island. We cannot leave the island. We get a COVID test every 5 days. There's also drug tests that we get as well because, everyone has to be a clean athlete. There's like a lot of guidelines. We have to wear a mask everywhere we go, except for when we're eating. We're like 2 meters apart while we're eating. Even when we're like right out of the water, when we're like dead tired, having a hard time breathing, someone's there giving us a mask to make sure that like we're following all the rules, all the guidelines, so we're able to have this. So it's kind of crazy on that, like there hasn't been any cases, and there's over 1,000 people, and this is the biggest sporting event that's happening right now in COVID, and it's being run so well, and like everyone's enjoying it, everyone's following the rules, which is great.
It helps when you're swimming faster than you've ever swum before as well.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shock. I knew I was going to swim fast, but not this fast. I know I'm pretty good at like swimming in season, but short course, it's also short course meters. All these meets are. So it's a little bit more exciting. I knew like that's one of my strengths because it's like I'm strong off like these turns and like the underwaters and all that stuff. But yeah, no, it's just like I'm not focusing on like times or anything. Like I'm just focusing on the process on how I'm swimming it and just trying to get points for my team, which is just so much fun. It's just a great experience.
Sonia Sullivan always talked about like she loved racing. She wasn't okay, obviously clearly a world-class trainer, but and didn't really like when she was at her peak, didn't really like kind of picking races with the season. She just liked to get into race season and then race every time she possibly could because it brought out her competitive instinct and her spirit. This is a very different environment from anything that we've ever seen before, because obviously people tend to peak for the big championships. Exactly. And for whenever the qualifying time windows are going to be open. Now when it's just pure racing competition, does it feel a bit more childlike and a bit more pure than the normal season would be?
Yeah, no, it definitely does, because it's like it's such a high scale, because it's like you have like lights, you have like smoke machines coming out from behind, you have these big like I kid you not, it's probably about like everything there with all the lights, the black curtains, the smoke machine. It's like you're looking at like maybe $500,000 worth of just equipment there. The cameras, underwater cameras, they have everything. It's like wild on what they're doing. So they put big money into it. So when you walk out and you're like waving like this and all that stuff, it's like you're not waving to the crowd because it's like you're waving for like the camera. So it's a bit weird when you walk out and they call your name, but like you have your team there, you have your own little team box. But yeah, no, it's great. It's like very pure racing because it's like I love it because it's like I grew up racing almost every single weekend or racing in college. So it's just great just to get up and see what you can do. Yeah, you might have some bad swims every now and then, but it's just about just like getting up, recovering, do what you need to do, and have fun with it, and try to get points on the board.
This sounds like one of the great spectator events once a COVID vaccine is fully rolled out, for people to descend on this island every year in a non-Olympic year, I presume, and watch these things happen. It sounds like this amazing spectacle of sport as much as anything else.
Yeah, it's honestly like I've been swimming my whole life, but I've also played all these other sports as well at like a decent level and like been into other sporting events as well. I've never been more excited for like an event other than this one. It's like so much fun because it's short course. It's so close and so much like excitement in it. It's wild because like last year I experienced where they had like these things like at the very end of the meet, they have these things called skins where each person gets to pick at a certain event. So for freestyle, you have to swim 350s all out, and it's 8 people in the beginning, and then like they swim, they only have like 2 minutes of rest, and they swim like the fastest, all like really really fast. Then there's top four, and then it goes into top two, and they race again, and it's like the most exciting thing. There's like double the prize money, double the points. Yeah, it's a really, really, really cool experience. And even like the light, it's more of a show than a swim meet sometimes. It's really, really cool. But yeah, once like the COVID restrictions stop and everyone, when it's safe, like the crowd would love it because like my mom, she's been to swim meet. She's like, that's the funnest swim meet I've ever been to. My aunts, it's everyone who's gone to like it is like an ISL swim meet say it's like the most exciting thing ever, and it really is.
Do you notice a physical difference in your performance when you're in the pool, when you're having fun compared to when you're under severe stress?
Yeah, I mean, like when you're having fun, you're not worried about like, how fast you're gonna go or like, oh, like I'm really tight here or like, oh, I don't really feel well. It's like at the end of the day, it's like you're here to like like I'm still like somewhat training through this as well because at the end goal is Tokyo. So it's like I'm still training through this. A lot of guys are still training through this, but it's all about like who can train through this, stay fit, and also race as fast as they can. So luckily, like I'm still undefeated in the 100 and the 50 backstroke. So like that's a really cool like thing I can say because it's just I'm able to lift really heavy. I'm able to swim, but I'm also swimming really fast at the same time. But like my coach and I, we've been working towards this. But it's just about being able to get up and do what you need to do and swim fast and try to be better than you were the other day. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I mean, right now in the 50 backstroke, it's been working. The other events I've been seeing like, some really good times when I'm really tired or back-to-back events. But yeah, it's just all about how you can recover and it's all about a mental game, really.
I know the interactions are obviously limited because of the virus, but have you picked
Mhm.
up anything from other camps, from other setups? I know obviously you're probably well attuned to how other countries do things when it comes to swimming, but are you learning much from the international event that this is?
Yeah, I mean, like this is the first time anything like this has ever happened where everyone's here in a bubble, all competing together. But like for me, I love like nitpicking other swimmers' ideas and what they believe in, like how to do a certain start or how to certain swim and what their way of process, like their think process is, just so I can try to better my horizon and my like swimming experience. And even the coaches, some of the coaches here have been coaching for like 30 some years, and that's just one coach. So I like nitpicking their brains and seeing what they think and how they do because I mean you want to learn, you want to like because I'm a student of the sport. Like I love going in and working hard, but working hard only gets you so far when you're trying to work smart as well. Like if you hit those two things together, like that's an endless possibilities of swimming fast, and that's what I've been doing. I've been working smart, but also working hard at the same time, and things have been paying off. So it's great that I'm here and able to nitpick people's minds and see how they think, and also race some of the best in the world. When right now is a really big training block for swimming, but like everyone's racing really fast, so it's really cool.
When you say you've been in all these other areas and this is the sporting event that stands out to you, outside of swimming, what else did you do when you were growing up? What were the sports that you played?
Yeah, so I ended up playing. I played a little bit of Gaelic football growing up because my dad he played back in the day for like if he played county for Port Arlington and County Leash. So like there was like a league in the states that like we were able to do in like Southwest Philadelphia. So played that. Played lacrosse. I played basketball, volleyball, American football, real football, soccer, baseball, volleyball, and golf. So I played all the sports you could think of.
Quite a selection there. What was your position in American football? Where and what level did you play to?
So I played in high school, and I was a punter, and they tried me out for wide receiver, but there was one day where I made the decision to play, and I just ran outside like in the back of my high school in full football pads. But meanwhile, I was supposed to be at like dry land, like a core session for swimming, and my coach is out there as well. So I just run out in full football pads, and I'm like, okay, I'm playing football this fall or this autumn, and he was just shocked, absolutely shocked. So I ended up playing wide receiver for one game, but they were really worried about me getting hit pretty hard because it's like I'm a swimmer, so it's like they knew how like good I was at that time, but I didn't. I just wanted to play different sports, so I ended up primarily being their main punter then.
Punter's a bit safer.
Yeah, it's a bit safer. I'm about like 10 meters behind the line, and I'm just kicking the ball, and every now and then you can get like a good tackle in if they get past the lineman, and I've done that twice. So yeah, I just like enjoying playing other different sports, and I didn't really take swimming serious until like when I was 18, when like colleges were like, oh hey, like you can come to this college for free and swim, and also get an education for free, and come out like school debt free. I was like, maybe I should start taking swimming serious.
That sounds like a good. That sounds like a good plan. So, when did you get your growth spurt? Were you a 6'6" punter in high school? Like, was that because that's quite a big target for those guys attacking you as well?
Yeah, no. I was a string bean. I was very lanky in high school. Very, very lanky. No, I've always been tall. But I was very, very skinny. I ended up like gaining like 10 kgs within like 8 months of like training because it was first time ever doing doubles of swimming, first time ever lifting, first time actually caring about like swimming as a sport. So like my body completely changed when I went off to college, which was kind of crazy to think about now. Like that's a lot of weight, and just like it was good weight too. But no, like in high school, I've just always been tall, always been skinny, and it just like swimming just came really natural to me, and just did really well at it. And like my mom actually was my swim coach growing up as well, so she always encouraged me to play other sports. But she's like, no, but you're gonna always have swimming in the background. So I would go to school, go to my school sport, go home, eat really quick, really quick, or eat in the car on the way to swim practice because, like I said, my mom's a coach, so she brought me swim practice. I don't know how I did it back then, but now I'm like done after one big practice.
That's fair enough. Your mum has Mayo links as well.
Yeah. So her grandfather is from Bellana in Mayo. So we have cousins over there as well, which is kind of cool.
They were all celebrating because they believe Joe Biden is also from Ballina. So just to give you fair warning here, Shane, if you've got Olympics next year, both Laois and Mayo will be claiming you.
Yeah, that's true. That'll be pretty cool though. But I'm just happy just to have the support, and it's great that I have like such a big family like in Ireland, especially with on my dad's side, because it's like honestly I wouldn't really be here if it weren't for them, because they're like before the Olympics I lived here, and it was a hard time because I had no car, I had no money. I lived for the weekends to go down to Port Arlington on the train, trained hard during the week, basically lived by myself in an old moldy house. But they helped me significantly, and I really give them a lot of credit for helping me out, and they've still helped me out as well.
What is the crack with Tokyo? It looks now like if the vaccine is as good as Pfizer say it is, then there's a really good chance that actually the Olympics is going to go ahead and could go ahead in front of fans next year, which would be absolutely amazing. Have you officially qualified, or what's the pathway between now and then?
So the pathway is a bit different from what it was from the last Olympics. So there was only 2 meets. So I already had the A standard for the qualifying time, but I just didn't do it at the right meet, which is fine. So I mean, and from my understanding, it's like I already did the A standard, so now I just need to do it again. You know, like I know I'm more than capable of it, and I'm in better shape now than I was over a year ago. So we had to like pre-qualify ourselves for the Olympics in 2019 World Championships, but I missed that deadline. But now we have our Irish Olympic trials, and that's where we need to get the A standard for the Olympics. So I've done it before. I always swim fast at the Irish Olympic trials, and I always like get the Olympic A standard there. And I love the pool. Like Dublin's pool is like, I love it because it's like one of the fastest pools I swam in, and it's a great pool just in general. But it's not only like my main event is the 100 backstroke. It's not only that like how, if I'm going to get the A standard, it's about how far I'm going to get underneath of it. And it's not just the 100 back. I have the 100 freestyle now. And also I picked up an event a couple months ago, the 100 fly, and I'm only like a second off the A standard, even though I only swam that one time. So that picked that up pretty quickly as well. So there's 3 events now that I'm like shooting for the Olympics, and then plus the relays as well.
And maybe a medley, given that, you know, you're obviously not busy enough. You may as well do the medley, right?
Yeah. So we have like the medley relays as well. So like that's up there as well, because like we could do really well in that, because like some of the other guys on my team, like they're getting faster as well, as same with me. And then once we get to Tokyo, it's happy days. All the hard work is done. You just go out, race, do what's best for the country, and try to get your hand on the wall before everyone else, and just move on to the semifinals and then finals, and then try to get a medal or something, because that'd be really, really cool if I can do that.
Shane, enjoy the bubble in Budapest. Great to talk to you. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's Shane Ryan there from Budapest this morning, where he is competing, and we'll keep an eye on that, and you can hear more about it on our sports bulletins and on the OTB Sports app. Now, this weekend, Clare and Wexford meet in knockout hurling. 29 minutes past 8 here on OTB AM this morning.